Hey, this is Empress Zingha, and today we are here at the Good Life Cafe, and we are about to present to you Craftsmen of Our Fate, a special edition, a sneak peek, if you will, of some of the more prominent people within our community. And we have a long chat with some of these fantastic people. They're going to be telling us all about their works, as well as some of their thoughts on what heritage and culture means to them. Sitting right here in this chair. Don't go anywhere, because you'll be right back. First of all, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself as well as some of your work in the cultural field?
Maybe I'm a bit biased in saying this, but Anthony Hinkson is Barbados' foremost playwright, in my opinion, humble opinion. Daddy has been writing since he was about 9 years old, and he's known as both a poet and a playwright. He had his first productions when he was 9 in the backyard of his father's house under a banana thatch roof shack, basically, where he used to charge people to come and listen to him reading his work. Yes, very much so. But as an artist, Daddy's a grassroots man. He's concerned with the masses, the concerns of the masses, the stories of the masses. He archives Barbadian stories, history, characters. You read his work and you get a sense of the time that it was written in, whether it was written in the 60s, 70s, or 2017. His most recent work is something that is pretty much a reflection on the devastation of Hurricane Maria. So he literally just kind of chronicles things in our history through his work, poetry and plays.
I'm a retired secondary school teacher. I taught for about 33 and a third years. But in the last 25 or so, I taught English and theater arts at the convent school. So that brought me in contact with quite a few students who were interested in theater. And a lot of them you might know, who would have belonged to the Convent Dramatic Society. And we used to go to NIFCA quite often. That's where I would say my second dispensation, because my first dispensation would have been starting off at QC with Daphne Joseph Hackett, and then going through what would have been National Theatre Workshop, which was before Writers' Workshop, with Elambe Motley and so forth. And then I would have had another dispensation at Imoja as a student, being involved in theatre there as well, doing work with a lady called Marina Maxwell out of Trinidad. And now I'm retired. There's another dispensation, which is critiquing plays.
I see myself foremost as a mother, a writer and teacher, and I see those as being part of the same profession in a sense. It's all teaching. As a writer, you see, the writing and the teaching gets mixed up and melded in together because of the workshops that I do, the nurturing that I do, because I've always said that if I'm not the one who makes it big on the international scene, I want to somehow have a part or have played a role in the development of the person who does do that. You know, whoever is the Rihanna of writing for Barbados, I want to I pray it's me, but I want to, be a part of that journey for whoever it is.
I am a very complex person. I would consider myself a producer of excellence in the arts, and I would consider myself a bit of a research expert. I've performed in the arts, I've choreographed, I've created, and I've produced. So, yeah, a producer.
I'm a Gemini, right? Or if you check the 12 tribes thing, I'm a Levi. And in both cases, it's a question of leadership and communication. So for me, whether it is journalism, whether it's writing songs, whether it's writing articles or creatively, whether it's editing other people's work, it's all communication, and I just love communication. That's what comes to me most naturally. So I'm not surprised that I turned out to be involved in music, because I always like just to create things. When I was a little boy, I used to be with a boomstick in my hand, imitating the Beatles, singing it's a hard day's night in the bed and that kind of thing. I always loved music, and my mother was very, very musical. And I have a sister who lives in Canada who was an excellent singer. right? So music kind of came naturally to me. In terms of the creative process, I was always very into Bajan folk music, Tuk and Bajan folk, other Bajan folk music. So if you listen to a lot of my early songs in particular, you will hear a very, very strong folk vibe in them, right? Because I was always, and as a percussionist too, because before I started to sing, I was playing percussion. Yeah. And that's always kept me connected to playing percussion. There's always a lot of that in my music, because I like to keep that folk feeling in the music.
So do you consider yourself a guardian of our heritage?
I believe that all of us are guardians of our heritage in the sense that we have our narratives that speak to our experiences in Barbados, and so to the extent that we continue to pursue or negotiate that identity in this space makes us guardians. There's the generations before me and there are generations after me, so somehow in there's some kind of continuity going on. Yeah.
Well, I would like to think so. As a teacher, I suppose you have to consider yourself a guardian of the heritage, particularly the useful aspects of the heritage, you know. And my policy has always been to try to create something new, not necessarily rely on things that went before. So working with Commonwealth Dramatic Society, most of the work that I would have done with them was improv, mostly improvisation, and then making plays out of the improvised work as a way of establishing that, you know, it's possible for us to create our own things.
Well, definitely. Definitely. I'm beaming with pride, you know, because as you may know, Daddy just was awarded this year with the Jubilee Honor. And that was long in coming. I've had people like Gabby and Kamal Brathwaite emailing me and saying, your father needs to be recognized for the work that he does, because he really does, as you put it quite eloquently, he's a guardian of the Barbadian heritage. And his work transcends time. It also transcends generations. So you can have someone who is in secondary school today doing his work. I think there was a young man from youth service last year performing the story of Hurricane Jeanette at NIFCA. So you read that and you can see the Barbadian heritage. You see that our stories are encapsulated in some rather creative words.
Yeah, man, most fiercely so. You know, as far as our language is concerned, right? I try to, in my writings, to preserve our language, because Bajan, I think it was Bruce St. John that I very first heard making the connection between how we talk and Tuk music, right? Because we walk Tuk and we talk Tuk. If you check it, the same kind of rhythm. You know, I like to preserve that kind of thing in my music. We have a wonderful heritage, I think, but again, I think there's a bit of a problem as far as a disconnect is concerned, because really the social media and the internet and all that change everything, you know, and nobody really have the time or the interest now in checking back something to see where it really comes from and how it developed, and you know, and how they can take it further. And everything is almost like instant gratification at every level, you know, in every area.
Yes, I do, but not necessarily in the sense that people might think, because I have to admit that I'm not a born Barbadian. I'm Barbadian by descent. But that actually I think gives me somewhat of an advantage, because I can see the true value in a lot of things that I think that Barbadians take for granted. So yes, I see myself looking at things and actually arguing and fighting for things that people think of as old-fashioned and old-timeish, whereas there are some Barbadians who would actually disagree with some of the things I say, because they think that we should move forward and progress. And I mean, as I try to explain to them, there's a difference between culture and heritage. Heritage is what we did, it's about our tradition, and there's nothing wrong with maintaining that. In fact, you need to maintain that, all right, so that the people, as a people, we can grow up and be rooted in what we know and what we understand. So that's our heritage. We need to take care of that. Culture is fluid. I tell people, heritage is cuckoo and flying fish. Culture is shafet. All right? Our culture is shafet. Our heritage is cuckoo and flying fish. We need to teach them. There's nothing wrong with the culture necessarily, except that, you know, it might lead to bad health, but we need to teach them about our heritage. Yeah. So yes, I am a guardian of our heritage.
Now tell me, what does independence mean to you?
Christmas music this year. You know, because I really know stuff going on. Tell you the truth. I want to tell you what's going on here, for real. I got a very equivocal relationship with the whole question of Barbadian independence, because I don't know how much we have changed that we needed to have changed. To me, if you say you're independent, it means that you're looking at things differently, right? Differently. And when check it, man, really changed. We was a service economy back then. We was a service economy still now. You know, and people that get up and say proudly, yes, we are a service economy. So it's a little bit wrong. You mean that we are about serving other people and providing a service for other people? How about providing a service and creating things for yourself and making things and now have other people serving me? You understand? But I am very disappointed in how the leadership in the region, right, has treated the whole question, the whole concept of independence. We kings and queens, man. And we gotta start moving so, right? And we say, listen, if we independent people, this is what will work for our people, this is what we got to do. Full stop. And that is the aspect of independence that I don't really see.
That's a loaded question. Boy. Daddy was there on the night of independence, and I think in his generation, independence has a completely different context than it does for the younger generations. I mean, we didn't born yet. We didn't think about, right? But because he was there and he was, you know, soaking in the rain with everybody else, watching the flag go up and the other one come down, independence for him is a significant moment. We would refer to him in academia, I suppose, as the first generation post-colonial artist. You know, he's in that era where people are now trying to redefine themselves and get a sense of this new identity that is broken away from Great Britain. Which is funny because, you know, if you speak with my dad, he still subscribes to some of the things that they would have had to deal with back then. So he still speaks Latin, for instance, which is a little nerve-wracking at times. But, you know, independence for him was a changing of the guard, so to speak, I guess figuratively and realistically. But there was also that need now for him as an artist and for us as a people to define our own nationality, what it means to be Barbadian. And I think he tries to address some of that as well in his work. It's you get that sense from reading the work that there's that questioning of who are we as a people.
Independence is a concept. I don't know what has happened much since 1838 or 1937, but the concept is that we all are free, right? And I believe that's something that we all should strive for and fight for, and to remind each other of. So for me, that kind of drives everything that I do. The fact that we should always be in the pursuit of justice, in the pursuit of things that will correct the certain issues and problems that cause people to think that we could be different from each other, and that difference means that we have to treat each other badly. So anything that goes against that and goes towards the concept of freedom in its altruistic sense is a good concept to hold on to. And so maybe after so long, to 50 years after independence, if we can still hold on to that concept, then we are still striving towards what it means to be an artist in Barbados.
Well, a lot of things really. Having come up in the period of independence, you know, I would have been a teenager, probably 16, 17, around the time of independence. So I would have had a fairly good idea of what it meant in terms of taking down the British flag and putting up the blue, yellow, and black. And being one of the people who went out to see the parade and so forth. So I would say it is something that I would appreciate a lot, or that I appreciate a lot, and that I hope that other people would do the same. I know in schools definitely try their best to make independence meaningful, particularly in the primary schools where they have the children doing projects and stuff related to the whole independence season. I know in the secondary schools, the day before independence was always a day of cultural activity. I don't think there was any time that we didn't have some kind of concert, and the students who had gone to NIFCA would put on their music items, steel pan would play, and so on. So for me, the independence then, having been a school teacher for such a long time, has to do with reinforcing the whole idea of who you are as a Barbadian and what are the significant things that we should remember, hold on to, and keep and preserve. Yeah, that's what the independence would mean to me. Apart from listening to hopefully radio stations playing independence music rather than Christmas music as we are having in 2017. Independence for me is more than just talking about it. It is a stage at which we can do for ourselves, and perhaps the next stage would be the total decolonization, where we become the republic rather than continue to be under the British rule. Yeah, but we haven't reached that stage yet.
Look, I don't know what it means to me. What I can tell you is what I wish. I really am so disappointed in some of the people who have been leading our country. I think that we could be so much further as a nation developmentally. I don't see why we can't be world leaders in, for example, the use of green energy. We have sun, we have wind, we have ocean. We have so many sources of natural energy that I think that Barbados should be a world leader in that. These are the things I would have liked to have seen. That we could revolutionize our education system, that we can understand that what was given to us or forced upon us is not necessarily what was best for us, and that maybe we can look back at our other traditions and find ways of teaching. I don't want to say educating, because then you're thinking CXCs and all of that kind of stuff, but there's so many of our young people who are being left behind, who are being forgotten, because we have not provided them with the right kind of education or delivered it in a way that is most suitable for them. I don't think that enough attention is paid to the creatives. And when I say that, I'm talking about there's a lot of lip service with regard to cultural industries. I'm not even sure what that term really means anymore. What I want to do, unless you define industry as being able to live from it, I just want to be like a plumber. I want to be able to do a job, get paid for it the same time, not 3 or 4 months later, and be able to pay my bills, feed my child on time, yes, feed my child, not feel as if I have to call the organizations, and I'm not speaking about any one specific organization here, but to call those clients, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times working for my money, asking to be paid. I would like, as a creative, to be respected more. So when you ask what does independence mean to me, at the moment it means a lack of all of those things, which is what makes me want to show.